Why are they doing this to me?
Oh my God!
No way!
Super!
We put over 600 Marvel 3 players in a database and let the algorithm determine the 10 best of 2022. Marvel's had quite the resurgence this year, so I wanted to find out who was the best. Not just my opinion, but we wanted to get scientific with it. We entered 31 tournament results, including over 600 players, and the calculations were solely based on who you beat and who you lost to. For the tournament to qualify, it had to be in person, in North America, have at least 8 players, and be on Start GG. The player also has to compete in 2 or more tournaments to make the top 10. Starting off our list with number 10 is Mundank. As the winningest player during the online Parsec era, there was a lot of pressure on him to perform at in-person events. Having played only in his region for the first half of the year, Mundank finally traveled out in June to CEO, defeating Punk, Liberal Terminator, and the 2013 EVO champion Flocker. Mundank was able to come out on top in winners finals in a very close set against Chris G.
Look at the
slam the
pop-up.
stick and he said, "That's me, baby."
Bro,
But Mundank ended up having to settle for second place after Chris G's dominant performance in grand finals, where Chris won 3-0 in both sets. Purely from a skill standpoint, Mundank is definitely one of the best active players in the game today, so I believe his rank should be higher, but even with wins over talented players such as Punisher, No Life, Winrich, and Prodigy, his lack of travel limited the opponents he could have beaten. His only other losses of 2022 came from Ray and Escalante, but they were enough to hurt his rank as he went 1-4 for the year against Ray and was winless in 2 sets against Escalante. Coming in at 9 is the crowd favorite Magic Pixel Mexican, better known as Sacktap. Well known for his success with low-tier characters such as Arthur, Nemesis, Hagar, and Ghost Rider, Sacktap was one of the most active players in 2022. Starting off the year with a couple of top 8s at Frosty Faustings and the first Festival of Fights, where he had victories over legacy players such as Marvello, Ramasama, Flux, and more, he made his biggest impact at EVO. After being put in the losers early on by Noel Brown, Sacktap was able to pull off victories against DeadX, Pride, Angelic, and Inside by the narrowest of margins, earning a spot in the top 4.
That could hit! That could do it!
oh my God!
No way!
And Sacktap takes it.
He would end up getting his revenge against Noel and took down Mothman to land a spot in Grand Finals against Remora. After resetting Grand Finals, Sacktap would come up just a bit short, taking second place at EVO.
Yeah, I love Hagar too.
Sacktap would go on to compete in a couple more tournaments and place top 8 in both to finish out the year, establishing his reputation as one of the most consistent players of 2022. Before we continue with the rest of our rankings, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep bringing you videos like this in the future. Number 8 is the insane one himself, Coach Steve. As a 2014 EVO finalist, Steve is definitely one of the OGs still doing the thing in 2022. Even though his fighting game career has evolved over the years, moving on to Dragon Ball FighterZ and most recently King of Fighters, he showed everyone that the arm was still bionic, winning back-to-back Marvel tournaments to close out the year. KIT in October, dominating DapVip and Frankie G, and DreamHack Atlanta in November, beating the likes of Marvello, Ronin, Prodigy, and Escalante in an 8-game grand finals. Evasion is number 7 in our rankings. He didn't have to go far to make the list this year, as he only competed at Frosty Faustings and Combo Breaker, both are with just a couple of hours away from home. But even with only 2 tournaments for Evasion in our system, he made it up with efficiency. At the first tournament of the year, Evasion made his way to Grand Finals, but would have to face off against Ray. Evasion had a beacon of hope, resetting Grand Finals in a crazy close set that involved 3 timeouts, but would end up being swept by Ray and taking home silver. With high expectations heading into Combo Breaker, Evasion was surprisingly upset by Midwest big body legend AA early on in the bracket. Not to be deterred, he went on to win the next 8 matches to land in losers finals against Chris G, getting 3rd in what was arguably the most stacked bracket of the year.
Don't be so sad, Evasion. Look, you're gonna get first place one day.
At 6 in this year's rankings is DeadX Pride. As the captain of the SoCal scene, DXP has proven himself time and time again. Starting at tournaments in his own region with wins on Chris G, Remora, and Noel, he took his first out-of-state trip of the year to Combo Breaker, making it to Winterside Grand Finals with a win on Chris G.
Oh my goodness, DXP moving on.
Being one of only 2 players this year to beat Chris twice, it's no surprise DXP is so high on our list. Chris would make it back to get his revenge in Grand Finals, as they played a 10-game set where DXP let victory slip through his fingers in the most heartbreaking moment of the year.
That's his last bar. Gets a free plasma beam, yep.
Chris
Just
doing
one
such
touch.
Chris
One
is doing
touch,
such a
Tong.
great job avoiding the chip.
One
How
touch,
much
Tong.
longer can he avoid it?
One touch, Tong.
Is this it? Oh my goodness!
He's staying in the air.
No!
Oh, he gets the hit. He gets the hit. Chris G takes Combo Breaker 2022.
DXP would head back home and spend the rest of the year back on the West Coast, where he was able to collect some more wins against players like Mothman, Jaewong, Sacktap, and would go down as the only player of 2022 to be undefeated against Remora in multiple sets. Jibrill was undeniably the best player of 2021, but with only 2 tournament appearances in 2022, our algorithm has him at number 5. The Seattle native didn't get to leave the West Coast, but still performed dominantly to secure a spot on this list, with his only 2 losses of the year coming at the hands of Remora. Among Shadows checks in at number 4 on this list, winning 2 out of the 3 tournaments he's entered in 2022. Playing out of the Bay Area, he made the short trip to SoCal, starting the year off strong, winning the first Festival of Fights. He would come back later in the year to claim first place again with 2 more wins on Mothman and Monkey Senpai. Third in our rankings is Escalante. With the highest win percentage of anyone in our top 10, there's no doubt that Escalante is one of the best in the game today. This man has been nothing but dominant in his region, winning 4 tournaments without even dropping a set. Undefeated in 5 sets against Ray Ray and 2 against Mundank, he's proven himself as King of the East. A weak showing at Combo Breaker kept him out of the top spot though, as he struggled to take his show on the road. Even against his fellow New Yorkers, he had some difficulties as he took losses to Prodigy and Coach Steve at DreamHack Atlanta. As one of the hungriest and most talented active players, I'm hoping Escalante gets more opportunities to travel in 2023, where we could potentially see him take the number 1 spot. And now, we have our runner-up for the best UMvC3 player of the year. Coming in at number 2 is Remora. The biggest surprise of the year, but absolutely well-deserved. Thanks to the online Parsec era, Remora has been able to get practice on a weekly basis for the last 2 years, and the grind has been paying off. After some respectable showings in the first half of the year, Remora won the first tournament of his career at EVO.
Remora is going to be your 2022 EVO champion.
To prove that it was no fluke, Remora went on to win his last tournament of the year at Festival of Fights 2, beating both Chris G and Jibrill for the first time. I don't know about you, but I definitely look forward to seeing if he can carry this momentum through into 2023.
You're gonna see more of me.
And that brings us to the top of the mountain, the player of the year, none other than Chris G. Considered the greatest Marvel 3 player of all time, Chris has had a lifetime of accolades in fighting games, but has made his legacy in Marvel 3. The 2016 EVO champion, with countless major tourney wins throughout the past decade, was able to add a couple more this year with CEO and Combo Breaker, proving that he's still the man to beat. But with many challengers that await him, will he be able to maintain his dominance over the scene and keep the number 1 spot next year? Or will we see a new player rise to the top? With over 600 entries, there were definitely more than just 10 notable players this year. And here are a few I think deserve some recognition. One of the players that really could have soared to the top is Jason Kiddo. He only entered 1 tournament this year, but was able to win first place without dropping a set, which included 2 matches against Chris G. Another player I want to shout out is Frankie G, who was by far the most active player of 2022, having attended 12 of the 31 tournaments in our rankings. My personal top 10 definitely differs a bit from a list some computer gave me, and yours might too, so let me know in the comments below if you would change anything. And on that note, I leave you with one more message.
Keep supporting Marvel 3. Let's keep coming back every year, all right?